Believe it or not, we are nearly done with the overall shape of this body. It's pretty darn close. There are a couple of things we need to deal with, though, and they mostly have to do with this front section here and the front grille. So first of all, let's head to the front view, and we'll go to wireframe mode. And actually, I've got a lot of stuff kind of messing up my view at the moment. And as it happens, I really only need to deal with this one polygon right now. I really don't need any of the others. So what I'm going to do is select that front polygon, hit the left bracket key on the keyboard, or head up to Select, Invert, whichever you want, and then hit H for Hide, which is under View, and Hide or Unhide. Okay? So let's go to the front view. And next, we just need to make this circle match the underlying sort of grill shape here. Notice it's round on top, then goes straight. Then we get these kind of tightly rounded corners, and then straight on the bottom. And again, we can do that manually, but why? So let's go to vertex selection mode in this case, which is number 1 on the keyboard, so that we can access this stuff a little more easily. Now I'm going to R for scale, and let's move our action center to the origin. There we go, something like so. So we're matching pretty closely. Also, I'll just scale it down a bit so we're matching up with that back image. Hit Escape to drop the tool, and now we need to straighten up these sides a little bit. And oftentimes the easiest way to do that is just to select some vertices. Oh, here we go. Select some vertices and just scale them, and then move your action center to selection, and that's going to align the action center to the selected polys. And from the previous tutorial, I do have a fall off enabled. I have a soft selection fall off enabled. Let's go to fall off none, and that looks a little better. There we go. So now I can scale this stuff in, and I won't go all the way 100% flat or to 0% flat. I'll just get it pretty close. Hit Escape to drop the tool, W for move, and move that down a little bit, rotate it a little bit so it's matching up nicely. And then we'll probably just do the bottom piece of this pretty manually. So let's just scale this stuff. I'm going to move to my automatic action center again, action center automatic, or in my case, I'm just going to hit Alt-A on the keyboard to go to automatic mode. That's just another quick shortcut that you don't have to use, but I like to. Scale it pretty close to flat, W for move, and move that down. And then finally, we'll just move this last point down to where it needs to be. Now, it looks like I probably want to get a little bit closer here, around here, so that this round is, better defined. There we go. And now we can unhide, U for unhide. We'll go to our advanced OpenGL mode, and that looks a little bit better. So now if I go to the right view, this particular vertex is a little bit too high up, but I want to move it along the current edge. I really don't want to have to change that and mess it up. So let's go to our edge tools, actually, and go down to slide. And then when we drag in the viewport, we should be able to slide it down along this here edge. There we go. Hit Escape to drop the tool, and Escape to drop any other action centers or whatever, and Escape to drop our selection. There we go. That's pretty clean. And now we would like to, oh wait, one more thing. Let's go to the right view. Look at this. Let's go to wireframe mode, and we need for this to match this kind of arced section, and we can only do that by adding more geometry. We have a number of ways we could do that. The first way is to go back to, let's go to perspective view. Let's go back to our advanced OpenGL shading mode. Go to polygon selection mode with number 3 on the keyboard. Select any 2 polys to define a direction. Let's head over to our MeshEdit tab, and then hit the loop slice. Click in the viewport, and make sure your count is set down to 1, and hit enter. And that ought to do the trick. Now we have a loop slice exactly where we need it. Hit Escape and Escape. We'll go to the right view. Let's go to wireframe mode. I'll go to edge selection mode. And this new edge, this newly created edge, is already selected for me. I don't need to select it. Let's just go to fall off linear. And I'm only going to move the stuff above the middle here. W for move, and move that on up a little bit, something like so. That looks pretty good. Escape, Escape, and escape. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now, folks, the time has come to see this smoothed out a little bit. And as you may know, you can hit the Tab key to do that. And that's uninspiring. What's up with the front here? The front isn't looking so hot. Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, n-gons like this is referred to as an n-gon, i.e. it's an n-sided polygon, n as in an unknown quantity. We have, this is a 4-sided polygon, right? It's a quad. But this, how many sides does it have? Well, let's select the edge. Look down at the bottom right of the screen. This has 24 edges. That's way too many. Way more than 4. So let's just select this guy, B for bevel, click in the viewport, bevel it in some, shift click, bevel it in some. Okay, and now deselect everything, hit Tab again. That's going to look a lot better. Now, the bad poly is still there. It still has 24 points on it, but it's on a flat area of our model. And n-gons are okay if they are flat. Well, the problem is smoothing n-gons, but if they're flat, it doesn't matter. So perfect. Next, I'd like to make sure that this edge and this edge are nice and sharp. Now, we could do that using a couple of different methods. In our case, to keep things simple for now, I'm going to use just adding a bevel, an edge bevel. So we can, as you know, go to the Basic tab, go down to the Bevel tool here, and by default, the Bevel tool, if you are in Edge selection mode, will do an edge bevel. It's intelligent like that. We'll just create this little edge bevel. And I would like to add a round level of 1, so we get an extra edge loop in there, just to make sure these are nice and crisp. And escape to drop the tool, escape to drop the selection. Let's hit Tab to see what we got. And that looks pretty good. Not too bad, right? It's actually reasonably convincing. At least on the top half. We can deal with the bottom half later. Let's look at the back side of this, make sure everything looks okay. You can see that on the back, this n-gon is going to cause us some problems, because there's nothing we can do about the fact that it is an n-gon. There's no flat back here to hide it behind. So let's hide our backdrop items for a minute. Zoom in back here on this problem area. And actually, let's unsmooth for a minute. And now we just need to kind of break this thing up. So first of all, I would head to my back view using the Control Space Pi. And then I'm going to go to my MeshEdit tab and go to Edge Slice. That's C on the keyboard for Edge Slice. Use this one all the time. And there's a trick to using this one. So Edge Slice means you go from one point to another point. The problem is you need to really click very accurately to do that properly. So let me show you a little trick. Go to Edge Slice, move your mouse over an edge, an adjacent edge, so that it highlights, and then drag the mouse to one extreme. That way you'll know it's exactly where you want it to be. Same thing down here. Just click and drag, and there we go. Now it's perfect. It's a lot easier than just clicking, because you'll tend to miss when you do that. Escape to drop the tool, and that should help us out a little bit. Escape to drop our selection, and actually let's do the same thing in the other direction. Again, run the same tool. I'm going to use C on the keyboard, but you can also head to the MeshEdit tab and hit the Edge Slice tool. We'll start with this middle one and go right across. That looks just fine. I'm going to hold Shift and start a new one. Just like every other tool in Moto, holding the Shift key and clicking is going to reactivate the tool from scratch. And we can do something like so. Now, as I do this, notice that I'm making my edge loops run around the back rather than up and down. I'm running horizontally. That's because it looks like in the original sketch, that's how it's supposed to be. It looks like it kind of wraps horizontally around rather than being perfectly round. There we go. Now, having done that, all of these are 4-sided polygons, each one of them. Now when we smooth it, you can see that we're going to get a much cleaner result. It wraps around exactly the way that it should, all the way around there. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now we have pretty much completed the basic shape of our body. So, yeah, good work, guys. Let's show those backdrop images, double check our work, make sure everything looks like it fits. It does. So I think, folks, we're ready to move on to the next step.